Okay, guys, we're back this week. Do y'all have any questions about what we covered last week? We covered a lot of material. We've been covering a lot of material every week. You know, so guys, like I've told y'all, be writing these questions down, okay? We have a guest speaker coming next week, next Wednesday, and we have a guest speaker coming next Monday. And I talked to you guys already, those of you that are on, that watch the videos or whatever, when you know, some of you guys come to class and when you miss, you know, you watch the video. If you've been watching the video, we're having class next Monday. We're having this class next Monday because the following Monday, I mean, not Monday, 2 Mondays. The 23rd?
We'll switch it to the 23rd of November.
The 23rd, I'm sorry, that week of the 23rd, is it that Monday?
The Monday is the 23rd, yes.
That Monday is the 23rd. That's the week of Thanksgiving. The week of Thanksgiving, we're not going to have class on that Wednesday. Okay? So we're changing this class to Monday and doing away with the Eclipse class on Monday because this class is a little more important and we have a lot more material to cover. Okay? So this class is going to be the 23rd, that Monday. Okay? So for those of you watching the video, and we have a guest speaker coming in that Monday.
The same day or next week? The 11th.
We have a guest speaker coming in next Wednesday, and we have a guest speaker coming in the Monday of Thanksgiving, the 23rd. 2 different speakers. Next week is a freelance. That weekend of the 23rd, I've got a criminal district court reporter coming in to speak to you guys. Get your questions together.
Can you have her bring pictures? Is that possible?
I don't know if she'll be able to do that. I mean, just because, you know, some of the stuff and their exhibits, and if something happens to them,
Yeah.
you know, I wouldn't want to put her in that kind of situation or whatever. But have your questions together for her, because I don't want to come in here and everyone's just, and then we come the next week. Oh, well, I forgot. I remembered. I wanted to ask her about. Don't you dare do that. Do not dare do that. And I want you guys to have enough questions for her because she's coming here to speak, you know, specifically, and they're both coming to speak specifically on those issues. 1, freelance, and 2, like criminal stuff, which is totally different than what I do, you know. So, you know, she'll know some of the stuff that I may, you know, not completely know or whatever, and then you can ask her, you know, especially stuff like about voir dire too. Asking them, taking voir dire, stuff like that, because like in my court, we don't really do voir dire anymore because we don't have any jury trials. So you can ask her stuff about voir dire, you know, impaneling a jury, stuff like that, exhibits, marking like guns, drugs, stuff like that. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. So you guys, and I thought I told you from the beginning of this class, you know, be writing stuff down and, you know, marking stuff as we're going through chapters so that you can ask questions, you know, when these people come and speak, okay? So remember, next Wednesday, guest speaker, and just depending on how long she's here, I told her maybe an hour, hour and a half. You know, we're still going to have class after that, so we still have chapters to cover after that. So, and then that Monday of Thanksgiving week, the 23rd. Okay. So, please, guys, have your stuff together. Okay. What else do we need to cover? I think that's it. Okay, we covered a lot of stuff last week, guys, a lot of stuff, okay? And like I said, we're covering a lot of stuff every week, so, you know, I know it can be a little bit overwhelming, but, you know, if you need to, go back and read those chapters or whatever, and, you know, make sure that you're informed about what we're going over, because what we've gone over is really important. All of this stuff from courtroom procedures, marking exhibits, resume, any of that stuff like that. I mean, and bring a highlighter, and I see that you do it, but bring a highlighter and just, when you see important stuff, just, mark it, okay? This way you can go back this week and kind of go over the highlighted stuff and, oh, you know what, I want to ask them about this. And I know David said this, but I want to, get their opinion about this. And, we were talking about something right before we went on record about what I would do if a witness is on the stand and they're pointing to something and they're saying, well, I got hurt right here, and how you would put it in the record. And the way that I do it is, not in parentheses, witness is pointing to the collarbone. No, you don't do that, because you have no idea what they're pointing to. Okay, it's just, I got hurt right here. You just put in parentheses indicating. But Rachel was saying that it was totally different in some RPR stuff that she had. So,
Number 25, that's why I brought the whole packet in.
yeah. So, ask her what she would do. And I'm almost certain she's gonna say what I just said, indicating. But, I don't know that there's a extremely right or wrong answer. I just don't know that I would go, what was the answer that they gave?
The answer was just to put the verbal, no parentheses, no.
And that, just to say what they're saying, and that's it. You don't put any, well, they're indicating
No
something, so.
parentheses.
That was the right answer?
Yeah, just to put the verbal.
Whatever. So, anyway. Okay, this week we're on chapter 34. Office environment. Objectives. Discuss the makeup of a typical office for an official reporter or a freelance reporter, including office furniture and space, color, light, and temperature. Discuss various health-related issues pertaining to the field of court reporting, including repetitive strain injuries, back problems, vision strain, and stress-related problems. Okay? The office. Those who work in an official capacity will probably find themselves working in an office that is located close to the court to which they are assigned. In some cases, the reporter has a private office. In others, a number of cubicles or working areas may be arranged within a large general area. And that's true. I think I took y'all back to my office, didn't I, when y'all came that one day? Yeah. I have an office all to myself. But when I first started that job, they didn't really have space for our courtroom, so I had to share the office with the clerk. So it was just kind of a little cubicle that I had right there. So it was hard because people are coming in and wanting to file stuff, and attorneys come in and want to get coffee, and then they want to talk to you. So that was kind of tough, but that was just a situation that they gave us. So you're not always in the best situation of, well, where's my office? Where's my, my own little office? Sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. You make do with what you have, okay? So I'm just saying be prepared, just in case you don't, but you just kind of do the best with what you have. Therefore, the office must be arranged in a way that supports getting things done in the most productive way possible. And this, they go through here and tell you, your desk should be clutter-free and blah, blah, blah. You know what? At any given time, guys, I'll have, it's slowed down a little bit, but I'll have 15, 18 records to do. And I've got pieces of paper, lined up to where I know this one's next, and they go in order of the ones that are due. And if somebody came in, it's like, my God, clean your desk or whatever. You know what? I know where it is. I know where to find it, and there's method to the mayhem. okay? So I know what I'm doing. Now, whether somebody comes in and says, you know what, this office needs to be cleaned, I've told the clerks, do not come in there and clean anything. Because I have stuff exactly the way that I need it. I know exactly what the fourth court, which ones need to be due at which time and which one's next. You know, so you can come in my office, you know, we share stuff, you know, there's candy and coffee and stuff like, you can help yourself to whatever, don't mess with my office. And they did. They did one time. And it was back when I was using the floppy disk. So I had them in order, you know, whatever, and they were coming in, it's kind of a long story, but they were coming in to redo the carpet. Well, they never told us, hey, you know what, everything needs to be out by this day. I had taken off these few days because of something that had happened with my mom, but I needed to be off. Well, they come in and just take everything out. So 3 years worth of floppy disks that were in order, they just, and I had gone through, and it was kind of my fault, I guess, because I didn't label them exactly, but I knew that they were in order. So I knew where they were supposed to be. And they just picked them up, put them in a box. So just years, 3 years, 4 years of just stuff was just in there. So, and it got to be, that was a little bit of a problem because I had an attorney come and say, hey, you know, I need something from 2012, from the beginning of 2012. Well, we're only responsible for keeping it for 3 years. And when she asked me, it was already past the 3 years. So, I mean, I guess I could have gotten by and just told her, you know what, I mean, I'm only responsible for 3 years. Well, I knew that I had it, but I had umpteen hundred floppy disks that I had to go through to find this thing for her. Because they had gone through and just thrown them in a box to move all of this stuff. So, if you can learn any lesson from that, one, mark your stuff and have it, you know, and, you know, I had it in a way that I knew where exactly to find it, but, you know, if something comes through and something just happens, you know, you just never know. So always have, you know, backup. And I think I've told you guys, I keep my backup at home. You know, I keep my actual disk at work because if people call me, then I can look at it right there. But if something happens, the courthouse burns down, then, I mean, it's gone. So if you have your file there and your backup file there and the courthouse burns, you don't have anything. Because your machine is there too, everything's there, everything. So just be careful. And this is kind of telling you right here about how to set up your office and whatever. But I mean, a lot of it is personal preference. I mean, keep your desk clutter-free. The computer, printer, monitor, and keyboard should always be easily accessible. The chair should be comfortable. You think so? I mean, guys, come on. I mean, so that one is actually kind of important because you spend a lot of time in that chair, you know, and you know, there's so many different things, and we'll get to it here in a little bit about back strains, your hands, eyes, you know, so. You know, and a lot of this is just common sense, guys. Wires, extensions, and cords should be located so that they will not cause a hazard when moving around the office. You think so?
I like to keep one in the middle of the room.
Yeah. I like to plug 25 things into an outlet and just hope that nothing turns on fire. So, but you know, it's just common sense, guys. This is common sense stuff. So, no matter what the situation, the official reporter, freelance agency reporter, or self-employed reporter, certain factors should be considered in helping to develop the most productive work environment. When environmental factors are considered to produce a safe and secure working place, it is called ergonomics. Whatever, call it whatever you want. I call it efficient, whatever, so. Office furniture and space. Guys, I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time on this, okay? I mean, it's common sense. It's stuff that works for you. You're not gonna get a mahogany piece of furniture that's 3 times bigger than the place that you have to put it in, because you know what, I mean, this is what everybody has, and I just have to have what everybody has. Seriously? You get what conforms to the place where you're gonna be working, whether it be in your house, a certain room in your house, or whether it be, at your office downtown, or wherever. So, I mean, I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time on this because it's common sense, okay? Yes, you do wanna get a chair that's very comfortable because you're gonna be spending a lot of time in that chair, either editing, proofreading, whatever, okay? So, and here they even give you,
I like
the computer workstation should have a tabletop that is adjustable to a height of 24 to 32 inches. I don't care if it's 64 inches. If it works for you, it works for you, whatever. I mean, So, office color, light, and temperature. Seriously?
I want to paint my room neon
Yeah.
orange.
Yeah. You want it black. Scientists have proved that the color of an office or workplace has a direct effect on a person's productivity. Color affects our emotions, moods, and attitudes in the workplace. Although bright colors tend to overstimulate the mind, and soft colors tend to make the person sleepy or less productive, very often neutral shades offer a relaxing environment that is neither too stimulating nor too exciting or too relaxing. Really? I mean, if blue works for you, paint it blue, whatever. I mean, as long as you're able to work in that environment, do whatever you need to. You need some place that has good lighting, because the less strain on your eyes, the better. And you're gonna know that over the years from working with the computer. Always get a good monitor, big enough monitor. You don't want this little, 8x8 monitor, where you're trying to see. Seriously? I mean, I have one probably bigger than this. I mean, it's, so you want something that you're comfortable with, but it doesn't have to be, you don't have to go get the Samsung 50-inch, and you're sitting back, just something that you're comfortable with, okay? Temperature, air quality, and ventilation of the workplace make the office environment safe and productive. Proper heating and air conditioning are important for work and morale and health. Okay. If you're cold, turn down the AC. If you're hot, turn it up. I mean, it's just common sense, guys. Repetitive strains and injuries. This is kind of important here, guys. Keyboarders, court reporters, and pianists who have repeatedly used their fingers, wrists, and forearms to employ the same type of movement over and over again are sometimes susceptible to carpal tunnel syndrome. Carpal tunnel syndrome is the result of the compression of the median nerve that passes through the forearm, through the wrist, to the palm of the hand. It occurs when the muscle of the arms and hands are overworked or overstrained. Carpal tunnel syndrome is sometimes called median nerve entrapment and can develop in other parts of the body, including the neck and shoulder areas. Some symptoms that may point to the onset of carpal tunnel syndrome are pain or burning in the wrist area, pain in the shoulders or wrist while sleeping, loss of sense of touch, dropping objects that you would normally not drop, and tingling or numbness of the fingers. A variety of treatments for this injury are used. Each depends on the severity of the injury. Treatments include lightweight splints, injections, exercise, and surgery. A new form of treatment called myofascial release therapy has proved to be successful and does not involve the use of surgery or drugs. So, what I do, and I mean, you can do it in school too. They kind of taught us in school. I mean, when you've been riding a while, just exercise your hands a little bit, with your wrist, and I always, move my fingers, because if you stay in this position too long, make sure that your machine is not too high, not too low, because if it's too high, then you're here. If it's too low, then you're here. You see? So too much of either one is not good. So you want it where it's just even, where it's right there. you know, and I write, you know, and it's, you know, between my legs and right there, you know, so, you know, but some of you, you know, write like that, and I've seen, you know, some of the females that write like that, you know, and they write to the side. You know, if it's comfortable and it works for you and it doesn't hurt your hands, you know, fantastic, you know, whatever. But in this profession, I mean, between working on that machine and working on that computer, it gets bad. You know, so they have the little pads now for working on the computer. Buy one, buy a good one, you know, and they have, you know, good ones. I'd even recommend buying one now, you know, and they're not real expensive, you know, so, you know, when you're working on the computer or, you know, whatnot, you know, and you don't have to be on there for hours and hours and hours. You know, get on there, because I can't even do it. You know, when I'm editing my own stuff, hour and a half tops is the most I can stand. And then I have to get up. I don't care if the thing is due in the next morning. I mean, you still have to give yourself a break. I mean, because you don't want to strain yourself to the point where, I mean, you're just beyond. One, I mean, get up and relax your back. And I've always had, you know, back problems because of sports and stuff like that. You know, so I've always had problems with my back. And it could be because of all the sitting that I do. I mean, I probably sit 6 hours out of the day, 7 hours out of the day, you know, where you're sitting in that chair and taking stuff. So, I mean, every time, you know, we have a little break, you know, I put my leg up and I'll just, you know, I'd stretch my hamstrings and, you know, just something just to move, stretch your back out. This is going to be for the rest of your life, okay? And you don't want to work this hard to get through school to let something like that you could have prevented cause you your career. And it's happened. It happened to my cousin. Yeah, she got, I mean, this is a syndrome, and I need to ask her, I'll text her about it or whatever, but she got a syndrome that affects her hands. And when she's on the computer or on that machine, her hands lock up. And, you know, they're like this and lock up. And I don't know what it's called. And she told me, I mean, it's like 2% of all people get it.
It's not like trigger finger?
I don't know what she called it.
I've seen it.
I wouldn't even know if you told me. I mean, she told me one time, and she didn't even really know what it was. They didn't even really know what it was, but she got it. And she got out, I think she got out of school a year after I did. A year after I did. And she worked freelance for probably 10 years. Finally got on at the courthouse. She was in Victoria, finally tried to get on, and I told her, I said, you know, you need to move up here if this is what you want to do, or try to get on at the courthouse.